and welcome to my TNA Impact Wrestling review, coming off the heels of last week's lethal lockdown of TNA versus GFW Global Force Wrestling. Pretty much TNA was back in control of their own selves with Dixie, the Wolves, Bram, and Drew Galloway, with the rest of the TNA roster on the outside of the ring. Pretty much talking about last week's main event as Galloway thanked everybody, and he's not trying to be the leader, but he was standing up for TNA. He was standing up for professional wrestling. He said, "We are the warriors of TNA, and we have called upon so we can stand up for professional wrestling." And Dixie pretty much said, since Bound for Glory is coming up, tonight will be a 5-way for the title with pretty much all those guys in the main event. Bobby Lashley, Drew Galloway, the Wolves, and Bram. And whoever wins will get a #1 contender shot for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship against EC3. Then she called out Eric Young, who teamed with GFW, but Eric Young pretty much says, "I did turn my back." Well, she said, "You turned your back on your fellow wrestlers in this company." And he said, "You're going to punish me now? Because I'm the one that get rid of Kurt Angle. I'm the one that took Chris Melendez's leg." And Young pretty much says, "I have an ironclad contract, so you can't really fire him." He said, yeah, he had this bet by joining Team GFW, and there's nothing Dixie can do about it. But Dixie says she may not be able to fire him anything, but she can put him in a match, in a lumberjack match against Chris Melendez that starts right now to make sure it was a fair fight. So TNA, it was a good opening segment, I'll say that, since they got, got the boast about their victory last week for defending the company, beating another invasion, even though I wish there was more GFW guys throughout this. I think they should keep going. And how they're gonna do Eric Young, since he has an ironclad contract. But Chris Melendez did win against Eric Young then in a lumberjack match, which was kind of quick. Melendez got the win with a drop kick and won the match, beating him, pretty much taking his leg. Although the leg thing didn't make sense, they didn't really go on a pole match, so TNA celebrated Chris Melendez and pretty much held him up in the air. The Dollhouse pretty much was doing some creepy video vignette talking about they're going to hurt Gail Kim as Jade would take the title away, and as they took out the beautiful people with that chair, even though the people were here early this year anyways, they're back again. EC3 was talking to Jeff Jarrett, I believe, Jeff Hardy, talking about in the suit, pretty much reminding them that if you don't do as I say, you will be fired. Gail Kim then went against Jay for the TNA Knockout Championship, which was really a good match, I'll say that. But Gail Kim is usually really big in these matches. I don't know, Gail Kim is a champ again, so I have no problem with that. But it was a good match, though. But pretty much, after he beat her with the Eat the Feet move, pretty much the Dollhouse came out and started beating her up, but then the rest of the beautiful people came out to help. But then after that, Awesome Kong headed to the ring and had a stare down with Gail Kim, since at Bound for Glory it will be Awesome Kong versus Gail Kim for the Knockout Championship, which both of those women usually put on a great match most of the time anyways. They've always put on great matches before. So yeah. But hopefully it'll be good, and I say the video packages are good also. But Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong for the Knockout Championship, they usually have great matches together. The X Division title on the line, Kenny King versus T-Ray Uno, which was a really good match. I'll say that, really good X Division match. A lot of crazy high-flying moves. Now they said Kenny King went back to Ring of Honor, so I don't think he's still under TNA contract anymore. With he's not under TNA contract, and he went back to Ring of Honor. Because the last time I saw, he had a good match. They say these things was taped long ago, but this was really a good match. I wish they would have done more at Kenny King. They were trying to turn him face, and it looked like when he went heel again. Listen, like I said, if it wasn't for Hernandez, which Lucha Underground was smart enough to get rid of Hernandez, by the way, since they finally got rid of him and his contract of the shit he pulled over this summer by coming back to TNA when he was under contract with Lucha and kind of screwed both companies over. He screwed the BDC over, which was a really good heel group with MVP and Low Key and Kenny King, and then Hernandez, even Homicide was in it. Could have had LAX back. I know Joe left and went back to Ring of Honor, then WWE, but they kind of killed the whole BDC thing. Hernandez made pretty much MVP quit, and Kenny King was just by himself then. He wanted to be his own man, but I guess he went back to Ring of Honor or something like that. But I wish they would have did more with the BDC, but Hernandez kind of fucked it all up. EC3 then went against Rockstar Spud for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and it was a good match, I'll say that. It was pretty good. Pretty much with a clean win over Rockstar Spud. He had a clean win over him, and pretty much after the match, EC3 told Spud to hit him in the chest, and he told Hardy to end Spud's career. Hardy, he told Jeff Hardy to do it, but Jeff Hardy looked like he wasn't going to do it, and so he said, we'll end his career. Matt Hardy then came out to help, and then pretty much after that, Jeff Hardy hit EC3 in the face as the Hardy stood tall together. The Hardy boys stood tall together again. So, yeah, it was a good match. I wish this EC3 versus Spud. Okay, their match was way better what they had back in London in the hair versus hair match. That was a great match. If you haven't seen that match, go check that out. But it was an alright match. James Storm was in the ring giving a promo as Manic and Abyss stood there and talked about people who are lost. And that there's one more in the revolution, he says. And he says, I run this thing. I gave Coy his name, but then pretty much Abyss said, shut the hell up. And he says, I helped build this company from the ground up for over 13 years. I've been here since the beginning. And he says, if you don't shut up, I will make you shut up, he says. Because pretty much say he was done with the revolution. He says, he would kick Storm's ass if he ever tried to put his hands on him again. So Abyss was pretty much pissed, and now the revolution looks like they're done. After that, Coy was still, or Manic was still in the ring, and he told him to say his name. He says, his name is Mahaba Shahir. Pretty much Manic kept looking at him, and Storm kept saying his name is Coy, but he said Mahaba Shahir, and then he took off the mask. Since he is TJ Perkins, the crowd started chanting TJP then, so I guess he'll wrestle without his mask. So he's going to be out with his mask now. Shearer pretty much came out to them saying he's going to fight him on the spot, and he says, we'll fight on my turn. Sorry about your damn luck, pretty much. So, Manic is now in mask. Now he's TJ Perkins. He's Suicide. So, let's see how he does without the mask. Even though we've seen him out the mask, like, 2 years ago, when Austin Aries stole his identity, stole his suit of him being Suicide. Matt Hardy, which is pretty much concerned about his brother getting fired tonight, if that happens. 5-way battle for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, elimination style. So even though I guess Bram had to be the first one out, but all the shit that's happened to Bram now, since him choking out women and stuff, I can see why he was eliminated first. Pretty much then the Wolves were going good on everybody, but they were kind of stupid to fight each other over a pin, and pretty much Lashley and Drew Galloway took them out then, and as it was Drew Galloway and Bobby Lashley left, pretty much Galloway was able to hit that kick and win the match win the match then with the running boot, and afterwards they shook hands. So Drew Galloway will go on one with EC3 for the TNA or Heavyweight Championship at Bound for Glory, which I think it would be a good match. So I'll say that, even though I feel like it should be Matt Hardy versus him, because I believe it's got to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. Maybe something will happen on next week's show. Maybe it'll be a triple threat. We'll have to see, but I think Matt Hardy should be part of this match some way, somehow. Pretty much when EC3 and Tyrus came out as he says, I'm not a bad guy, I'm a TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And he called Jeff out saying, like, pretty much then, Jeff, you need this job. How we provide for your wife, your child, your family, and everything. And pretty much as he was firing everything, he would fire Jeff Hardy. But Jeff Hardy says, I'm not afraid. He quit. Which a lot of, I'm not going to get into the whole people leaving this company anyways over some bullshit most of the time, but pretty much Hardy says he wasn't working for me anymore, and thank God people didn't say WWE chant out there. I guess that was true. Thank God they didn't say a WWE chant. And I don't know what's going to happen if Jeff Hardy comes back on next week's show and that, but we shall see. And it was a really good episode. Actually, it was a better episode of TNA this week. Coming out the whole Global Force Wrestling thing, the 5-way match, and coming in the Bound for Glory, this should be a strong show. And I think people need to stop lying about attendance records nowadays. I'll say that. The attendance records, because like I believe it was over the weekend or two ago. You know, TNA's been doing live events in around here, Salem or something, and people went to lie and say it was only 3 people that showed up to the building. It was over. I talked to somebody over Twitter that actually went to the event and said it was at least more than 1,000 people there, and he had pictures to prove to me also. Now, I don't know who's taking pictures though. I don't know if it's Photoshop or they taking it before the event. But I think people need to stop lying about TNA and their attendance records sometime. Yeah, I seen the baseball ones look really bad, but this time was actually a good crowd, and I seen better pictures this time because I know somebody actually went to the TNA live event and said it was a really good wrestling show. So I think people need to stop lying on these attendance records all the time and stuff. But Bound for Glory is coming up soon, Sunday. We'll try to do live reactions of some way, review Bound for Glory. And God's in Japan again this year. Although if you're that big of a fan of Japanese wrestling last year, that would be for Bound for Glory in 2014. But finally, they build up matches and that showed them at the last minute like they did last year. So yeah, but I'm gonna go. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Check out reviews, everything. So out of here.